Most people don't realize they're walking into a trap. Not just any trap, but the most dangerous one of all. It's silent, it's slow, and it works its way into your life without you even noticing. One day, you're strong, you're sharp, you're driven, and then, without realizing when it happened, you start fading. Not because time is against you, not because aging is inevitable in the way you think it is, but because you allowed the years to strip away the very things that kept you alive in the first place. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in the small decisions, the ones you ignore, the ones you dismiss as insignificant. And before you know it, you're not who you used to be. And worse, you're not who you could be. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. A man, once ambitious, once respected, once filled with energy and purpose, suddenly finds himself irrelevant. It starts with retirement. Finally, a time to rest, they say. But what they don't realize is that they're also retiring from responsibility, from challenge, from engagement. And when you retire from those things, you retire from life. The world moves on, younger generations take over, and you begin to feel like a ghost in your own existence. You become the old man no one listens to, the woman whose stories go unheard. And it's not because society has rejected you. It's because at some point you stop pushing back against the tide. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be this way? What if I told you that the decline most people experience in old age isn't inevitable, but voluntary? That you could maintain your strength, your influence, your significance, but only if you make the right choices now? People assume that getting old means getting weaker, getting slower, losing touch with the world, but they're wrong. It's not time that does this to you. It's the absence of effort. It's neglect. It's the decision, conscious or not, to let yourself erode. The difference between those who remain powerful into their 70s, 80s, and 90s and those who fade away isn't luck. It isn't genetics. It's intention. It's discipline. It's discipline. It's an unbreakable refusal to submit to the decay that waits for anyone who stops trying. One of the worst things you can do as you get older is to stop challenging yourself. Stop learning. Stop pushing your mind and body. Do you know what happens when a lion in the wild stops hunting? It dies. And humans are no different. You see this all the time. Someone works hard for decades, builds a career, builds a family, and then they step away thinking they've earned their rest. And what happens? Their health declines, their curiosity fades, their spirit weakens. Their spirit weakens. Not because they're old, but because they have no direction. The moment you stop setting goals, you start dying, slowly, silently, inch by inch, until one day you wake up and realize you're only a fraction of what you used to be. Improve. When you remove challenge and responsibility from your life, you remove the very things that make it meaningful. The people who stay sharp, who stay respected, who stay alive in every sense of the word, are the ones who never stop moving forward. Look at the people who remain at the top of their fields well into old age. CEOs, writers, scientists, thinkers. They don't just stop. They don't just disappear into the background. They continue to contribute, to engage, to be part of the world, and because of that, they remain relevant. They remain necessary. But there's something else, something even more dangerous than slowing down, something that will accelerate your decline faster than anything else, and that's the people you surround yourself with. Because whether you realize it or not, the people in your life will either keep you sharp or they will drag you into stagnation. And stagnation is death in slow motion. If you spend your time around people who have given up, who have let go of their ambition, their curiosity, their fire, then you will become like them. It is inevitable. Your environment shapes you more than you can ever imagine. There's an old saying, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. This is true at 20, and it's even more true at 70. The people around you will either push you forward or pull you into irrelevance. If you want to remain strong, you have to be around strong people. If you want to remain sharp, you have to be around people who challenge your thinking. If you want to stay valuable, you have to surround yourself with those who value growth. This might mean cutting ties with people who no longer serve your future. It might mean seeking out younger minds, fresh conversations, new ideas. But one thing is certain. If you let yourself be trapped in the same old tired conversations and the same lifeless routines, you will shrink and you will disappear. And yet there's one final piece of this puzzle, something even more important than staying active, than staying challenged, than staying surrounded by the right people. And that is your sense of meaning. because without it, none of this matters. And this is what most people get completely wrong about aging. Aging isn't just about avoiding decline. It's about becoming something greater. Think about this. You've lived decades. You've learned lessons most people haven't. You've seen things younger generations can't even imagine. That means you have something incredibly valuable to offer. Wisdom, guidance, strength. But that only matters if you step forward and offer it. So I ask you, what will you do? Will you let yourself fade, step into the background, let the world move on without you? Or will you rise? Will you rise? Will you choose to remain sharp, to remain engaged, to remain a force to be reckoned with? Because I promise you, if you make that choice, if you refuse to go quietly, if you insist on being a presence in this world until your very last breath, you will not just age, you will evolve.